Today I'll begin with a question. When someone asks about your faith in Jesus or Christianity in general, how do you answer that question? Do you answer it with a bunch of rules and regulation that we need to abide by so that we can get into heaven? Or do you answer it as a relationship with Jesus Christ? Or maybe it's somewhere in between. And this question is important because depending on how you answer this question, it reveals what you believe in when it comes to your faith. And our faith should dictate our thoughts, words, and even our actions. And this isn't a new problem that we're facing as a modern Christian, but something that has been around since the beginning of the church. To get a better understanding of this, turn to Romans 2, verse 12 to 29, and I want you to read that for yourself. Pause this and read that for yourself. And unpause when you are ready. Paul makes it very clear, verse 12 to 16, that those who are righteous in the eyes of God are not those who hear and know the law, but those who obey the law that will be declared righteous. It means that people declared righteous are those who practice what they know rather than simply having possession of the knowledge. It's like this. Let's say that in my marriage, my greatest goal is to be a good husband. Now, there's two ways I can take that. I can know that I love my wife and not do anything about it, or I can know that I love my wife and take actions accordingly by telling her that I love her, going on dates together, doing things that interest her. In which scenario will it look like I'm trying to be a good husband? It's pretty obvious, right? In a similar sense, our faith isn't simply about what we know, but how it is practiced out and put into action. And we can't allow our past actions and the good things we have done to make up for the right now, because if you follow along the rest of today's passage, we see how Jewish people at the time justified their lack of action. They relied on their past actions, whether it was knowing a lot about God, or being a guide to the blind, or being a light to those who were in dark, being an instructor or teacher. There was something that they did in the past that they would boast about and really trick their mind to think that their past was going to make up for the present in their faith. They were relying on the good things that they have done in the past to cover for the sins that they were committing currently and their lack of passion for the Lord. Honestly, this is kind of scary for me to preach about because I have to constantly check myself in this area in my life. For those who may not know, I've been at our church for such a long time. And over the years, there's a lot of things that I've done in the church. And sometimes I wonder if I'm too complacent about my own status, of my own comfortability at our church. Because if I'm not careful, I will fall into what this passage is warning all of us against. To think that my past will cover for my present, so I act like I'm some great person. But in reality, what makes me great isn't myself, but the one who has given me value, which is Jesus Christ. So what about you? If you honestly start to reflect about yourself and evaluate your faith, where are you at? Are you at a place where you're humbling yourself daily to pursue the relationship with Jesus Christ? Or have you become complacent in your faith, simply relying on the past relationship to sustain you through? Being a follower of Christ isn't a matter of simple do's and don'ts. It is a matter of the heart. We have to constantly check ourselves to see where our heart aligns when it comes to our faith. But the best way to know what our heart is truly after is looking at our actions. Verse 25 and on talks about this issue of circumcision, but in reality, Paul is talking about faith and using circumcision as a tool to relay the message because the original audience would understand the implication of what he is saying. To summarize verse 25 to 29 to fit the modern day Christians, this is what Paul is trying to say. Your obedience that comes from the heart, that manifests into your action, is the proof of your faithfulness to God. Let me repeat that one more time. Your obedience that comes from your heart, that manifests into your action, is the proof of your faithfulness to God. So put your faith into action. Our faith isn't called to be something that is dormant and we keep it to ourselves. We are called to be a difference maker at wherever God placed us in. So be faithful in that. Make sure that your faith is put into action wherever you go. It means that you may need to sacrifice things that you hold dear. It may mean that you have to put yourself in awkward situations to advance the gospel. It may mean that you need to carefully reflect on how you're doing spiritually and make adjustment. It may even mean to let go of your haunting or glorious past so that you can progress forward. Whatever that looks like for you, my prayer is that I want you to make a commitment with God. Start on that journey today. Don't hesitate. Don't wait for retreat. Don't wait for revival conferences. Wherever you're hearing this from, I want you to take the time to commit with God, to turn from your old ways and go the direction that God has desired for you.